go out here.
Should have got a costume, dang it.
That's what I was saying.
All right, we got Simon coming in. Very exciting. All right, that's the Swarm sessions, Cardano room. All right, let's get Project Catalyst.
Should be live on YouTube. If not, in a couple seconds. It takes about like 25 seconds or so.
Oh yeah, I see us. We're live on YouTube.
Sweet.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna mute that audio because I was like, I swear I heard that before. A little bit of deja vu. Awesome, y'all.
All right. We'll give people a little while to join, and then we'll also cut up the content and share it out. So the spotlight presenters, their content will also we'll send that to you, and then you guys can post that on your channels as well.
Sounds good.
All right. Great. Yeah, we should have some people joining in here. We got those Zoom links out there, and there's some engagement on that across Twitter. Very cool. Awesome. Well, I'm super excited to hear more about oh yeah, we got New Mind Flow coming in and Joshua. This is great. Yeah, people are starting to flow in slowly here. Wonderful. It's great having everybody. We're kind of about to get started here. And then we'll launch into everything. Welcome, Felix. Good to have you here. Thanks, Simon, New Mind Flow, Joshua, for joining in here. Sweet. And then do we kind of want to get started in like the next minute or so?
Yeah, let's give people maybe like another, what do you think, like 60 seconds?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And then just for the people that are in the room at the moment, just for like that kind of security purposes, we just kind of keep everybody on mute when they first enter. Just, you know, we don't want someone coming in here start screaming as someone's presenting. So we'll keep you all on mute for now, but then as soon as we kind of get closer to that Q&A portion and people kind of want to ask questions, we'll open that all up so you can kind of ask questions to your heart's content. And it's great. Yeah, we got 5 people also watching on the YouTube channel, so it looks like we have kind of a little bit of a audience split across here, so this is really exciting, y'all. I'm glad that the live stream works this time around.
Great. Think we want to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So welcome everybody to the second town hall. This is still work in progress. So we're working on improving every week. So things might break, but going to keep getting better every week. So this week we got it connected to YouTube, and we'll just keep using these blocks that we learn every week and stacking them on each other. So yeah. My name is Grant Scholl. I'm the CEO. I have a huge passion for gaming, and I've been in the Cardano community all the way back since the ICO. And I'm really passionate about bringing the two together. So that's why I started PlayerMint.
Hey everybody, my name's Aiden Rankin-Williams. I'm the community director here at PlayerMint. So I've kind of been a gamer for since childhood, and then I entered crypto space in 2017, and you know, I was good buddies with Grant, and kind of our passions for gaming and crypto kind of led to the founding of PlayerMint in 2018. And then some kind of Cardano related stuff is I've actually gotten to work with Emergo as an intern back in 2019. And now super happy to be kind of working in the world of Project Catalyst on Cardano. So we have a great agenda for you all today. I'm going to start off with kind of going over our product roadmap, so you all know where we're at in regards to that. Then we're going to hear a little bit about a development update, kind of hear a comparison between the design files that we've received from our devs. Then I'm going to launch into a prototype demo. So I'm really excited to show you all this, but we're actually going to click through the interactable portion of PlayerMint, what the website's going to look and feel like. And then we'll jump into a company roadmap from Grant. That's kind of like where we are and where we're going. Whitepaper, Rocket League tournament registration. Then we'll follow with a little bit of Q&A. And then finally, you all will hear the amazing presentations from Drunken Dragon Games and Cardania. Really excited to hear those myself. Awesome. So starting off with the product roadmap, everyone. So I touched on this at the last town hall, if anyone here watched that. But basically in our product roadmap, we kind of have this standard process of where we first define the scope, then we make designs, and then we launch a code base. We audit that code base, and then finally the product goes live for you all to enjoy. So to give you a little bit of an update on where we are at with all those things is we already defined scope. That was kind of what we spoke about in our Project Catalyst proposals. And actually, I'm really happy to say that on Friday, Grant and I attended a meeting with our dev group Chromion, where we reviewed the final designs of the PlayerMint website. So it's all looking really good. As you can see, our little PlayerMint car is about to enter the final stages of design. So by pretty much the end of or halfway through next week, that design phase will be kind of checked off. We'll sign off on those final designs, and then we'll move to the code base, which we're looking more into how we can launch it as an open source code base on GitHub and what are the licenses around that. So if anyone has tips or suggestions for us in that regard, we'd be more than happy to hear you out. Great. So on the dev update side of things, as we kind of are progressing towards that end of the design phase of product development, I just wanted to kind of take a step back and kind of show you internally where we started from a design perspective and then where we are now. So if you look at kind of the left hand slide, you're kind of looking at I guess you could say like the main page and where people see how much PMX they're earning via gameplay performance and kind of a breakdown of your stats in like the top 3 in the leaderboard. So you can kind of see it looks great. It looks, you get the materials you're looking for, but it's not as kind of tightly packed and well constructed. So our product manager over at Chromion did a great job and kind of tightened up a lot of things with the final designs as we gave them different reviews and inputs, and you can kind of see what the final result so far is looking like. So really kind of exciting to just see that kind of before and after take in what we were able to accomplish with a few iterations of design. So now I'm super happy to say that we can launch out into the prototype demo. So I'm about to open up this Figma application and kind of just click through it all. It's purely front end, so it's purely just for that visual component, but it will be really exciting to kind of see you all what it looks like and then how it is to kind of click through and flow through the actual site. So if Grant, I could share my screen real quick.
Yep.
Awesome. Great. So can everybody see this?
Yep.
Awesome. So what you're looking at right now is kind of the PlayerMint profile. What I'm kind of take you on is that journey through the user experience, what it's like to be a user, and kind of what you would do with your day in PlayerMint. So of course, as always with most applications, you're going to start off with creating an account. So that account is kind of, your identity within the PlayerMint system. And it includes essentially your PlayerMint account, which is like email, password, standard stuff like that. And then a wallet. So that's your spot to store your PMX and NFTs. And then of course, linking your gaming account. So for example, at first that'll be Epic for Fortnite, so that we can essentially grab data on your gameplay performance and then distribute PMX out to you. So once you as a user have kind of created your account, you have this great kind of landing page where you can kind of show off the NFTs you own, maybe the ones that you have on sale, maybe the ones that you've created yourself. You can go over here, you could edit your profile, change up your bio, add a new personal link. Maybe you live stream on Twitch and you have a great audience over there that likes to kind of interact with you and you kind of enjoy an NFT to PMX relationship with them. But overall, as a user, the main thing that you're really going to be coming out and doing is you're going to be engaging in this leaderboard. When you pick up that controller or, put down your mouse and you kind of get down to playing Fortnite and getting rewarded based off of your gameplay performance, this leaderboard is really kind of, where it all culminates, where it kind of all begins. So you have your distribution, kind of the whole prize pool of PMX in an Epic. So we're kind of following Cardano's model of you have these 5 days where based off of your performance in those 5 days, PMX is distributed out to you. So you kind of see what's the total prize pool being distributed, how many people is it getting distributed to, and then when is that like payout distribution going to occur? So then you also can kind of see your rankings, your payout, and then your stats. And then as you kind of scroll down, you kind of have this beautiful leaderboard. So you can kind of check, who do I need to beat in order to win the most PMX? Or, maybe you can kind of come over here and you can find yourself in the leaderboard and kind of see where you stand, how much PMX you're earning, who's next to you in line. And then as we kind of go through the experience, once you've earned a little bit of PMX, the user might want to kind of go into the process of actually minting an NFT. So here you can kind of see that the user has an NFT all kind of queued up. We have Wolverine taking on the cast of the Fortnite world, kind of standing out on top in the NFT A Marvelous Battle. The user kind of decided, hey, I'm going to sell this on the open market for 750 PMX, or maybe they kind of want to take it off of sale and just have it for themselves. But let's say they do set it off into the market. All they have to do is hit mint. They'll pay that little bit of PMX in order to mint it and have that kind of sent to the blockchain. And then they'll mint that asset. It'll be available on the marketplace. And then, other people can kind of come in, interact with it, purchase it, and kind of have a fun time enjoying the whole experience. But if you were a user, for example, that wanted to buy an NFT from someone else, you can kind of come to this marketplace. You can kind of view what's available. Maybe you want just a cool image, or maybe you want something that's going to give you community access. For example, this Galactian Discord role. Or maybe you want something that is going to be like a map inside the game. So you want to buy the Winter Wonderland NFT because it gains you access to a map inside of Fortnite, something fun like that. Or maybe you want to buy an NFT made by Cactus Jack or Travis Scott himself with the Cactus Jack event that happened in Fortnite not too long ago. And all you would have to do is come in here, simply kind of place your bid to purchase it, hit continue, sign that transaction with your wallet, and then boom, you bought Cactus Jack Attacks. Now you have your NFT in your wallet, and you can kind of return to that marketplace. You can put it up for sale. You can keep it in your vault or your wallet for a long time and just kind of enjoy it. And then kind of the final parts of the prototype that I wanted to show to people is all of these kind of assets that we've been interacting with. They need a place to be stored, right? So we have the beautiful PlayerMint wallet, and this is kind of the spot where you can check out how much PMX have you earned, what's kind of your holdings and the value in some sort of fiat standing over time. So we kind of have that beautiful, what you'd see in something like a portfolio tracker, but for your PlayerMint assets. And then you can, of course, do something like, maybe you want to send a bit of PMX to a buddy. So you enter in either the US dollar amount or the amount in PMX, you paste in that address, and then you just hit send, distribute the assets to them. You can even check that transaction ID and see the status of whether it's been sent or if it's still in kind of that processing stage. And then the final great thing that I just wanted to show off to you all was the fact that if anyone has any problems at all during their journey through the PlayerMint experience, one thing that we take very seriously is customer support. We want this experience to be accessible to the point where if you don't know what blockchain or NFTs are, you can understand and use this application. You don't need to have a rich understanding of blockchain in order to use PlayerMint. And a way that we can assist that journey is through a support function. So we have, of course, your standard FAQ page, things that kind of allow people to click through it and do what is referred to as self-service, where they kind of solve their problems by themselves. And then, of course, we are going to offer something like an email ticket service where you kind of write in a ticket, and then we kind of go through an email-based process of solving any of your problems. And then, of course, you can kind of come here and click the PlayerMint Discord, join in that, and then we can also solve your problems there. And then, of course, check out other NFTs and all kind of that fun stuff. So overall, that is kind of the PlayerMint prototype in its current standing. And we're really excited for kind of how it all looks and how it's feeling and shaping up. This is kind of just the front end, but some more interactions, designs, and whatnot will slowly be added into it. And then we hope to actually send you the link to this so that one day or another you could kind of scroll through this and click through it on your own time and kind of enjoy doing so. So I hope everyone kind of enjoyed a little bit of what PlayerMint will look like once it's live. This will kind of be your user experience through the product. And then Grant, I'll let you, I'll give it back off to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Aiden. Okay, so I want to talk to the PlayerMint roadmap in a more macro, big picture. What's our vision? What are we trying to ultimately accomplish, and how we're going to get there? So there's really two macro phases. The first being a B2C model and or a UGC, a user generated content. So the first phase, what Aiden just showed off, is completely user focused. So the user can earn PMX and they can mint NFTs. And an example of something that we're really excited about in the NFT world is this idea of community NFTs. So tokenizing your community with NFTs and allowing the community to benefit from the growth and impact of that community. And we'll be focusing in on the gaming community, which is a perfect match for that technology. So some streamer, some like Fortnite streamer might mint a NFT of for their fan base or their community. And then those NFTs can be used for all types of things within that community, and also allow the fan to rep that community. And there's just a lot of very impactful engagement that can come from that. And that's just one of many opportunities. But that is all sort of like UGC, sort of like Roblox type of like the user creating the items, the players creating the items on top of games and in these communities like Fortnite. And then the second phase is more B2B. So this is where we turn the infrastructure that we created in the first phase for the user and the UGC and the communities over to game studios. So in the first phase, when that's completed, we'll have a secure wallet system, a minting system, a DEX for NFTs. And then also in this phase, we will integrate Hydra to scale so that smaller transactions can also function in the marketplace. And with those in place, it'll become very easy for game studios to then leverage that existing infrastructure for their games. So some game studio might start minting on the same marketplace that the communities are using, for example. And that experience can be white labeled, so they can white label the marketplace and the minting process so it fits totally within their brand and scope. And the way that we are going to approach the crypto game engine space, so to speak, is by really honing in and focusing on what we see as the three key problems for the game studios that Cardano can solve. And so the first one being the secondary market revenue. So in the last 2 years, Fortnite made $9 billion selling in-game skins that have no utility other than the fashion that they provide to the player. But all of that revenue is in the primary market. And if you look at a game like Counter-Strike, the secondary market is actually 3 times larger than the primary market. And the studio, while they're trying to capture as much of that as they can, the majority of it leaks out to secondary marketplaces. And then those secondary marketplaces turn into dark markets where there's lots of fraud and chargebacks and things that hurt the actual player. So that's the second one, is the fraud with Cardano and PlayerMint being the facing way to interact with that. The game studio can eliminate fraud in the secondary market by validating and tokenizing all of the items. And also, by doing that, the secondary market becomes completely automated. So the players own the items, and rather than having to take the items to a place like Skinbay or some super clunky experience, like for example, right now in Fortnite, players are selling their accounts on eBay, and they have to like take a screenshot of their account on their TV and then post it to YouTube, and then all the parties have to trust each other. And the amount of trust that is required in that transaction leads to lots of fraud and a very illiquid market compared to how liquid it could be. So Cardano and PlayerMint is able to make that market exponentially more liquid and remove the fraud And with smart contracts attached to all the items that are minted, the game studio can begin to gain royalties on all of those items. So in the first stage, it's user-generated content, players minting things, communities minting things, and then we hand that technology over to game studios to leverage that existing technology to take advantage of all of the amazing things that Cardano is bringing to gaming. So the white paper, which details all of this, I'm going to drop the link to that into the Discord later today. The final stage is we got all these new designs from our dev group. And so I'm basically plugging that in so that the branding is updated with all of our new designs. So you guys can check that out today, probably towards the end of the day. So if you want to check it out tomorrow morning, depending on where you're located. And we're looking for as much feedback as we possibly can get. And I'm sure that there are many things that we could improve on. So we're very open to hearing your feedback and seeing what you guys think are areas that we could improve the project or anything that you find when you're reading. So another big announcement is that we will be hosting the first major Cardano gaming tournament. The hosts will be ourselves and Retro Stake Pool. And then we have 3 sponsors for the event, including our 2 spotlight presenters today and also Ada Quest. And I will be putting out the link for the registration if you want to compete in the tournament after the town hall today. So that will be a Google form that you can sign up on. And then we're planning for this event to be the coming weekend. So we'll post the exact time after we have a meeting with Retro, which should be in the next at maximum 48 hours. And then we'll get the remaining information out to everybody. But the sign up link we'll send out after the town hall and tweet about it and put it in the Discord. So with that, I'm going to open it up to a Q&A before we hand it off to the spotlight presentations.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, just feel free to raise your hand or type it into the chat. If you're over on YouTube, feel free to just kind of type it into that live scrolling chat and we'd be happy to answer them. And then, of course, after the Q&A, we will hop into some awesome presentations from our fellow Spotlight members.
We might also be getting them on YouTube as well.
Awesome. So Vletic Franco asks, what is your user acquisition strategy? So thanks for asking that. We actually have a really fun strategy in terms of, I guess what's pretty big in the marketing world right now is, of course, like influencer or ambassador marketing, where you get some sort of user that has a wider community to kind of show off a product and integrate and get kind of their community interested and engaged with that. So our kind of plan with that is that if we give an influencer that has this massive community that plays Fortnite, for example, or a supported game of PlayerMint, what we can do is if we hand them the product and we say, hey, you can win PMX from playing this game, and so can your user base. And then what you can do is you can mint NFTs that you can then sell to that user base that's earning PMX. What we're essentially equipping them with is this community economy tool that is funded off of the gameplay experience that the community and the creator are partaking in. So you have this kind of beautiful relationship where the influencer's playing video games with a community that's also playing those video games, and then they emit an NFT asset that does something like exclusive permissions. And if you buy this NFT, you gain access to playing video games with me. Then you can kind of sell that to a community of people that would love to buy that. And the great thing is that they're supporting their favorite content creator with something that they earn from playing video games. It's not something that they have to reach into their own pocket that they earn from their job or something like that in order to pay for it. So you kind of have this beautiful creator to fan interaction without, necessarily having a monetary loss. So you can kind of have some great benefit. So that's a big route that we're going from the user acquisition route. Of course, we're going to do our own kind of organic marketing with things like tournaments. So we try to emulate the product in terms of getting people paid to play video games. So that's why we're hosting things like the the tournament, which you all know of because you're a part of the prize pool there. So, but emulating that idea of let's pay people for playing video games and let's not ask them for anything. Let's not charge any fee for them to gain access to that like kind of beauty of permissionless access in the blockchain world. So we have kind of a good couple ideas, but we really feel like ambassador marketing is going to work in our favor.
Yeah, and to add to what Aiden said, the community NFT model that I mentioned earlier meshes super well with a go-to-market strategy because you give that tool to the people that are at the forefront of creating community and that have the communities, and then bringing those communities onto our platform. So ambassador marketing, both with our product and then also with tournaments.
Awesome. And then Yan asks, you mentioned a stake pool is involved in the tournament. Would the stake pool have any additional function besides as a sponsor? So in terms of their function, we're really it was actually Retro Stake Pool. We got to give them credit. It was originally their idea to hold this Rocket League tournament. And then just because we've had past interactions with them and, we're of course this gaming project, they, wanted to see if we'd be interested, and they kind of posed the question in our Discord server. So their function besides as a sponsor is they're more so actually on the facilitation side of things. So they're actually helping us structure the tournament. Rocket League has an in-game tournament feature, and they're kind of helping us dry run that and make sure that we can have the best experience possible. And then they're also on the side of they have a lot of great techniques in terms of content creation. The whole Retro Stake Pool is kind of their adventure into the world of Cardano, but they've already had existing community interaction just through the audience they've grown in the gaming world. So their big focus is hey, how can we make content out of this? How can we live stream this? And then how can we facilitate this? So they're definitely more so on the par of facilitators than sponsors. Of course, Yan, always happy to answer any questions. And then if we have any other questions, I'm not seeing any in YouTube, although we do have some fellows watching from there. If not, we must have done just such a good job covering the information in the actual presentations.
Also want to say if there are any improvements we could make that you've noticed to this whole town hall process. It could be a question, but it could also be more of a statement or something to point out as well. So it doesn't have to just be a question. And as this develops, our plan is to continually hand the PlayerMint experience over to the community. So that's one of the big reasons that we're having these town halls, is in the name of decentralization, making sure that as the system is becoming more and more decentralized, the community is able to hold that up. So not just questions, but like also statements and like what you think and like what you want to see and things like that as well.
Great. It looks like we have a question from YouTube. Ninth Ghost asks, is possible to add games that isn't competitive? Ooh, that's kind of an interesting question. So I guess in nature, in any video game, and at least in our distribution model, the nature of it is our distribution is based off of the competitive nature of video games. So it's this idea where if we have this leaderboard that we're paying out people based off of where they place in that leaderboard, it's quite difficult to, for example, have a reward people for a non-competitive element. So meaning if we don't have that competition layer, it's pretty much impossible to determine that, hey, person A deserves more PMX than person B, because we're doing it off of the skill inside of video games. That being said, if we're talking about like a single player game that doesn't have any multiplayer element, we could actually look into supporting that. And just what we would do is we'd almost create a multiplayer experience purely in the sense of leaderboards. So for example, if you had a single player game like Far Cry, and we had some sort of API access to your gameplay performance, one thing that we could try and track is what is your level of stealth on certain missions? You know, how much are you dying versus how many kills are you getting? And kind of look through what the API can provide us. And through that, we could almost provide a comparison between how well you're doing in a single player game and another person is doing a single player game. So we can look into models like that and then distribute PMX rewards based off of those competitive elements between two players. But the thing is we need that competitive element because that's kind of almost like our proof of gameplay or proof of skill, where based off of how much of the skill that you have, that's how much of the PMX rewards that you get.
Yeah, and what I'll add too is that game studios or players can also use the tool set to create their own crypto creations, whether that be NFTs or fungible tokens. And that can be in games that are completely not competitive. Something like Far Cry could use PlayerMint just to mint the items so that you own the items and get all the benefits that were mentioned earlier of minting the items. So beyond the base PMX reward model, the tool set can be used in many different ways to create all kinds of crypto assets and like all different types of games or like whatever people can think of. So on the PMX side, there are limitations to what it can do, but that's just one crypto asset, and that's the base crypto asset of the system. But there are many possibilities to use PlayerMint in any type of gaming or virtual environment.
Awesome. And then New Mind Flow is asking, PMX rewardeds are tied to in-game achievements. So in terms of PMX rewards are tied to in-game actions. I don't know if you mean achievements in the sense that, you know, when you're playing Xbox and you do a certain action and, you know, it says like achievement unlocked. It's not tied to like achievements on Xbox or like trophies on PlayStation, but rather like in-game actions. So for example, if you get an elimination in Fortnite, that contributes to how much PMX you're going to be rewarded. So it is tied directly into the fact of your in-game actions. It's just not like a specific achievement within a game, like what I said in regards to Xbox.
Yes, yeah. So like in order for the economics to work, you need to have a leaderboard with stats that all the players are competing for to rank and get their position to compete for a fixed amount of PMX that's minted that the players are competing for. Just like how with mining Bitcoin, the people are competing with their energy to like, or competing with stake for the new ADA. The reward, so you have a leaderboard and then the PMX is rewarded based off of where you place on the leaderboard. But it has to be competitive. So it can't just be like in World of Warcraft, when you complete a quest, you get gold, because then more and more players are getting more and more gold, and then an infinite amount of gold is being generated. And then the economy hyperinflates because tokens are being minted every single time an achievement is earned.
Awesome. So do we have any more questions on the PlayerMint side, or should we hand it off to the spotlight presenters? I'll take a just a quick look. It looks like we got the questions on YouTube and for Zoom. So I think unless anyone pops in with a final question here, I think we should hand it off to our spotlight presenters.
Sweet. All right. So Drunken Dragon Games is going to be the opener, and then Cordania will close the spotlight. Okay, so let me stop my screen. You should be able to share your screen, Franco.
All right, let's see. Yeah, I can. Can you see my web browser?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, awesome. Thank you very much for having me. Let me say those UIs, they're looking really good. So congratulations on all the progress. Really looking forward to what goes next.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. So I am Blerik, founder of the Drunken Dragon. I'm a backend engineer, SPO of the D&D pool. I'm a Plutus pioneer. And well, I'm also a big gamer, and well, the founder of Drunken Dragon Games. So because I have 5 minutes, I would like to show you guys the projects that we're working on based on our webpage. So if you go to drunkendragon.games, you'll find this. The long-term project that we have is Drunken Dragon Instant Quest. In Drunken Dragon Instant Quest, you are the guild master of an inn and tavern for adventurers, and people from around the town will come to your establishment for food, but for drink, but mainly to provide quests. And it's up to you to attract adventurers into your tavern, to send them into this quest, to further expand your tavern and gain NFTs and FTs in the process. So this game is more of a simulator strategy game. And well, let me show you some of the features that we have. The first thing is that you can already purchase these FTs that we have created, fungible tokens. They're the pixel tiles. And the pixel tiles, they'll be used in the game. Well, first, the adventurers. These are going to be the adventurers that you'll have at your disposal to send them into the quest. And the furniture. You'll use the furniture to start building up your tavern and your inn and make it more attractive and gain more reputation. The more quests you achieve with your adventurers, the more you'll attract other adventurers better and more powerful. And the more reputation you make, the more interesting quests you'll receive. So we have this aspect of play to earn, in which some of these pixel tiles, you'll earn them by making the quests and making your tavern bigger and better. These collections will be seasonal. So for example, these ones are already limited, and we'll make each season different themes and more and better pixel tiles. I think some of the cool things about our game is that we're being a bit hardcore on the aspect that adventurers can actually die. This is to create a more rich economy around the pixel tiles. When an adventurer dies on a quest, you send it to a quest. In the quest, they'll report back after some time. This is going to be like a really long-lived game. And when they report back, you'll have different options, more in like the traditional role-playing games, and you'll choose them to go through their adventure. And if they go into too much danger, they can die. And the smart contract on the back will actually burn your FT, and in exchange give you back a pixel tile tombstone. The tombstone will feature the same art, but when you place it in your tavern, the adventurer will appear in ghost form. So as well, there will be aspects of crafting. When you send your adventurers into the quest, if they're successful, they'll bring different types of resources as loot. You'll be able to use it to craft different beverages or different foods that will boost your adventurers. But your taverns will be located on different parts of the world. So different people will have different resources around them. So for example, let's say that you have your inn and tavern in the center of the map, where you have like an undead castle nearby you. Your quests will be different because you'll have an undead castle nearby you. And also the loot. Let's say that there's these magic herbs and roots that are only acquired by killing the undead, right? And these are really good at making some meat, which boosts you to kill the Fae, but you don't have Fae nearby, but others do. So there will be like this, we really want to create this rich marketplace in different resources are available and different demand for different things are available. Another of the core features of the game is the deed system. Each in will be represented by an NFT, which is your deed. And all of the different adventures that you have, the different quests that you fulfill and complete, all those different adventurers that went into adventure, and some of them might died heroically, they will be recorded into the blockchain through the deed system. And the deeds will also be, as they are NFTs, they can be tradable. So there is this aspect in which your NFT you'll grow it and nourish it through time and leave a really epic tale behind, and maybe for later share with others. So of course you can manage different inns and taverns if you acquire more of these NFTs. So you owning the inn and tavern will be around the deed system. So these are the main features that we have for the game. There's a lot more that I could tell about it, but this is the core thing. For us to achieve this, we've created this general roadmap. Well, the first one is we wanted to start by funding the project. For this, you can, of course, support us by starting to buy the first series of the pixel tiles. Also, we have really soon the pre-sale of our second project. This is also for us to start funding the game. These are the Drunken Dragon adventurers at 10,000 unique adventurers, NFTs. They're all themed, of course, after what we're creating. And they will also have a certain usability inside the game. You will also be able to use this to send them into adventures, and they'll have the unique property that these are the only ones that are immortal. Of course, with certain balancing aspects to it, there'll be some. If they die, there'll be a recovery time to balance it. But I think, well, this is a way for us to reward the early adopters and the people that are allowing us to do this. The development will start after we make this pre-sale, so hopefully this month actually. And the development will be in collaboration with Playstorm Studios, which is a really talented game indie studio. They started by creating a successful Kickstarter campaign. So you guys should also check them out. And well, finally, the thing that I would like to add now is that as part of a roadmap, we also have an intermediate stage, because we really want to go and be close with our community. This year, we want to finish an intermediate game called Drunken Dragon Inns. In this game, you will be able to take your pixel tiles and place them into a pixel art scene and start building your tavern. This is just for the collectible aspects. So we'll have this first intermediate game for you to already start enjoying your pixel tiles, building and expanding your tavern, and will be in development of the year for the whole of the development of the Inns and Quests game will be through all 2022. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Drunken Dragons, Inns and Quests. Any questions?
Awesome.
Yeah, great job. I really love the artwork. Like,
Yeah, I'm a
great
big
job
fan.
with that.
I'm a big fan of the designs.
Yeah, thank you. You know, a lot of people, they, of course, this reminds them of old school games. But what I really like about pixel art is that I don't see it old school anymore or like retro. Like, I think it's becoming its own thing. Actually, there's some indie games which have been merging some really cool new technologies with pixel art. You guys should check them out. But yeah, like there's a lot of really cool things being done with the pixel art, and I'm really fortunate to partner with Playstorm Studios because his artist, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, fantastic job. Well, if anyone has any questions, feel free to, if you're in the Zoom call, throw it in the chat or raise your hand. Or you're more than welcome to, if you're over on YouTube, to kind of submit a question through the chat bar. And I'd love to let the community ask questions first, but I definitely have some. Being a gamer myself, I would love to interact with this and use it.
Awesome. Thank you, Aiden.
Of course. Yeah. So Chris G is asking, where can we buy the heroes? Looks awesome.
Well, you mean this, if he means this one, the pre-sale is gonna be announced next week in our Discord channel. So if you just go to drunkendrown.games/adventurers, we have here a big Discord button, and there's a way to sign up there. We'll have the pre-sale Discord only announced, and then the normal sale after that. So yeah, and also the pixel tiles are actually already being sold individually in cnft.io. That is becoming also a really cool place to buy and sell. So you'll probably find them there as well on the second market if you're not able to catch the pre-sale.
That's awesome. And then Grant is asking, how can my adventurer die?
Well, when you send them into a quest, they'll report back with like the game will describe the scene in which they'll be encountered, right? So let's say that you send them into a quest into that undead castle, and then they're describing we fought our way all the way into the main chamber, and now there's different ways they can take, right? So they'll describe to you how afraid they feel of continuing further certain areas. So you have like a hint of how dangerous it is to continue on X or Y path. And whenever you take another step, they'll passively fight through their way there. And they'll receive damage, right? And the more dangerous they perceive the adventure to be, the more probable that they'll receive fatal damage, right? So when the timeout comes, you'll receive a report of what came out of their adventure. Either they'll return with some damage taken, or with the hands full of treasure, or maybe you'll receive a pixel tile tombstone on that.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the play to earn economics of that. It's very cool.
Yeah, I have a question in regards to kind of like the economics of it. In terms of like the marketplace features. So is there some sort of like, I know that you spoke to the fact that some of these items will be fungible tokens that can actually die, like those are your pixel tiles, but is there some sort of fungible token or currency system that, for example, if I owned a tavern and I wanted to create some sort of, epic legendary mead, but I needed resources that you had, is there like a medium of exchange, like some sort of currency that we'd exchange with, or would we exchange different in-game items, like more of a bartering system?
I personally think that this is a balance we as a community need to find in these new type of games. What balance do I mean? I think on one extreme is let's tokenize everything, every single aspect of the game, the currency, every single herb, etc. Or on the other side is like maybe, for example, only cosmetics are tokens, right? So we want to discover this through testing really early on, throwing the game probably on testnet early on with our supporters, etc. Because me personally, I would like to have all of these resources as tokens, as FTs in the market. Why? Because if you acquire, let's say, a bunch of these magical silver iron and you want to sell it, you can sell it anywhere or trade it anywhere independently of the game. That's the magic of a blockchain, right? But if we find out that this is a little bit ends up in a really ugly pay to win, disadvantage, the game stops being fun. I don't think we're gonna do it. So because our main objective, after all, is to make a fun game. I know that a lot of folks are here around, maybe making a quick buck, but for us, the philosophy is we want to make a fun game. I mean, we're in love with fantasy and we want to make something really epic, right? So blockchain should only add to the fun of things, to the fun of it. So then again, for example, the fact that we want to create on-chain the history of your tavern, I think that's epic, that's cool, that's fun, because you're playing to create something that is recorded and that matters, right? That is left for others to fall in awe, right? Then maybe this is the only person that was able to defeat the demon lord, etc. And you have it in the blockchain just to prove it.
Yeah, that's epic. That's really, really cool. Yeah, almost using the blockchain as like a way to, immutably capture the story of the pixel tile characters and the adventures of Drunken Dragon. So yeah, really, really cool use of blockchain, not only as like a means to, make assets, connected to the blockchain and truly owned by the player, but also in order to construct a story that kind of lives on the blockchain and is kind of, told like,
exactly. That's a role-playing part of our game, definitely. I mean, we're, of course, very inspired on Dungeons and Dragons type of things, RPGs type of things, and we're not an RPG per se, in the sense that you don't have a single character which goes into adventures. We're more of a simulator, Sim City type of game.
Yeah.
But we don't lose that role-playing aspect, because we want to make the quest really lore-rich, and you'll have the different options and choices for the adventurers to go through. We really wanted to make it feel like a Dungeons and Dragons adventure. If you guys ever played it, so we really want to have this RP aspect to it. And then again, as you just said it, the whole leaving, your lore book behind of your own tavern.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, congratulations. I think you're doing an amazing job. And just looking on YouTube in our chat, it seems like people are saying the same. Ninth Ghost said that they love tavern and shop simulation games. So I think you definitely have some interest in I think all of us are really, really excited to play Drunken Dragons. I know I myself, I might have to go get myself a pixel tile pack or check them out on CNFT. So really, really great job. Super excited for what you're up to. I'm going to just kind of do a last call for questions. If anyone on YouTube or in the Zoom has any questions, feel free to throw them down. Otherwise, congratulations. Great job. And we can't wait to see more progress from you.
Thank you, Aiden. It was fun.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Awesome. Great. So it looks like we kind of got some of those questions answered. So why don't we hand it on over to Cordania? And great job. Really, really great job.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Well, that was awesome, Vletic. I'm gonna buy some of those. Those are
Me too.
the wine slime.
Yeah.
They look like great profile NFTs too.
They do. They do. This is gonna be a thing.
And I like the snow, the unwise. Is that a little take on some Game of Thrones action right there?
Yeah, it's a reference indeed.
I like that. That's really great. Wonderful job.
So give me just a moment here. I'll pull up. I made a little presentation for everybody. Let's see. Share screen.
I think Frank,
I can't share screen.
If you could unshare your screen, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. How do I unshare?
There should be a there should be like a share screen button. It should say like
yeah,
like,
because it says now new share. So resume, and then it says new share. Why
should
does
be
it
like
say new?
end screen share.
Yeah,
Okay.
there should be like
There, it's a small
yeah, there you
red
go.
button in the
There
bottom.
you
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
You got it.
Ooh. Chris got muted. There we go.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was coughing, so I muted it. No worries. All right, just a moment here. Let's see. I think I can full screen that. Do like a present.
Awesome. Look at that. That looks
There we
beautiful.
go. Does that look all right?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's great.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, thank you so much for having me. My name is Chris. I'm the founder and lead with Cardania. Well, hang on, we'll go to the mission first. But we started this project in April, and we're basically a gaming ecosystem NFT project on the Cardano blockchain. We're a small team. We've got 4 or 5 people working on it now, pretty regularly. I work on it full time myself, and just been enjoying the ride. So I've got like a full kind of presentation about where we're at and where we've been, and kind of where we're going. And there's actually a few things these are kind of reveals for you guys today, particularly on the land side of what we're doing, which I think you guys might enjoy. We'll see. So let's see. Oh, cool. I can just press the little down arrow. Okay. So our mission is basically we're aiming to create an interlocking set of NFT-based games in sort of a cohesive metaverse hub. And we're also looking to integrate other, Cardano compatible games within the ecosystem, right? So, ideally we'll be able to integrate. Everyone's going to sort of have their own tokens. Everyone's going to have their own NFTs. Ideally, we'll be able to work with these other projects to understand their metadata and different ways that we can integrate them, like within the universe, right? Like maybe a drunken dragon hero, if we understand their metadata, maybe there's a way they could adventure in Cardania or somehow, they go through a portal. I don't know, something like that. So that's sort of the overarching mission of it. And to start with that, we're basically starting with a card game and a land sim as the first 2 of the major efforts. And let me give you just a little bit of the lore background. So basically, Cardania itself is sort of it's a place. It's this continent-sized space station. It's in the Sol system, but it's way in the future. It's in like 1 million CE. So there's basically, there's like no context around it. And basically there's several factions that live on the station, and the whole station itself is maintained by these they're called caretakers or custodians that are basically an AI that live there just to take care of the station and rebuild it because it gets blown up all the time by all the silly things that are happening. And then sort of at the core of Cardania is the summoning pool, which is our actual stake pool, which sort of powers this quantum dark energy drives, the thing we made up, right? So the quantum dark energy drive, in theory, when we get to certain levels of maturity with it, with delegation or what have you, maybe the station goes to a different place, right? Across space or time or what have you. So that's sort of our mechanism for kind of driving the story forward and all that. This is just a little brief on the summoning pool. We would love it if you delegated. We've currently got 64 delegators and about the same blocks. That's weird, right? Getting the same blocks as delegators. And it's a great pool. It's up all the time. We do a lot of work to make sure that it does so. And I know it's hard getting away from all the DeFi products and all the DEX products and stuff, but split off a little bit of wallet, come on over, hang out. You do have chances to win rare, exclusive NFT art, cards as they drop, land tokens, and some of the other stuff we'll talk about further here in the presentation. And we are developing something which I can't reveal just yet, but we're developing something to further incentivize delegation summoning pool. which we're hoping to, once it's done, we're just going to give it to the community because we think everyone's going to want to do it. So that's just a little teaser. And then, so this is just sort of a, a very basic idea of our interlocking games model, right? So the idea is that, the card game, the land game, maybe other games in the Cardano ecosystem, they generate this user activity, which generates rewards, resources, tokens, what have you, which then would generate larger rewards, right? Faction rewards, community narrative control, right? So that the idea there is maybe if your faction is has ran the board for the last month, maybe your faction gets to decide what the next content generation is, right? Maybe you guys get to decide where the station goes, something like that. And then like seasonal or time sensitive unlocks, things like that. Obviously still very conceptual, but that's sort of how we see everything kind of interacting together in the ecosystem. Yeah, and then you'll notice that the little 3DC there, that is actually the very basic concept of what the Cordania station will look like. And I've got a little bit more of that in just a moment. So this is our collector's NFT art, which we just hosted our first sale earlier this week. These are all 1/1 mints. We're anticipating about 100 or so unique pieces between now and May. We're also going to have, not all of these are going to be available for direct sale. Some of them you're going to have to get. They're called mysterious orbs, which are sort of an incentive to buy some of our other stuff. You might only get a mysterious orb at like 1 out of 100 chance to get it, but then you can send that orb into the vault and you'll get a random one of our random pieces of art from the vault for that. And we're also just reserving some art for specific things. Like we actually give our very first one to Ragpool because he was doing a cancer charity, and I was like, oh shoot, that's cool. We'll just give you guys the very first one. Stuff like that. So this is actual card art, right? So each of these is going to be used specifically within the card game itself. So there's no just the art doesn't have like the gaming metadata attached to it. This is strictly for collectors, but it's also a cool way to help fund the project as we go, right? So every week I'm doing new card art sales, sort of a limited time duration. So I'm thinking Tuesday or Wednesday. I haven't set like an exact date on it yet, but just keep an eye. We're on Twitter, twitter.com/Cardania_2021 is our primary method of communication, and also jump in the Discord as well. These are our Rad tokens. We've got 10 billion minted. It is a closed policy, and this is going to be sort of our overarching in-game currency. I haven't distributed any yet, mostly because I'm still sort of fuzzy on the regulatory certainty. We're US based, right? So I don't want to start distributing these things and then in 2 years have the SEC come and just wreck me. So yeah, Aiden knows, he's smiling. so I'm holding off on distributing those in any sort of fashion. The crowd sale regulations are absolutely bananas in the US, so we're figuring that out. But when that happens, you'll know because I'll be shouting from the rooftop. So this is our card game. The card game is called Cordania Enter the Ultraverse. You can basically expect a single and multiplayer kind of deck building card game, similar to Hearthstone, similar to Magic the Gathering. You'll be able to win Rad tokens. You'll be able to win other stuff, NFT art, other tokens, who knows. And then, as smart contracts roll out, we will be able to sort of level up and evolve the NFT cards. The minimum playable deck is probably going to be 30. That may shift up or down. I've got a guy who's like exclusively dedicated to lore and basically building out the interior mechanics of this game. So we're aiming at 30 cards right now. I think for comparison, Magic is at about 50. So I'm trying to make it a little bit more accessible, especially because nobody wants to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to just be able to play the game. So I'm trying to avoid that. It'll be Windows and browser based at launch. We're using the Unreal 4 engine. I think that's overview of the card game there, and it is functional right now. Actually, I promised the guys over Trevor and Alyssa at Never Engine that they'd get the scoop on the first gameplay, but we'll be able to share that like pretty soon. It's just not very good right now. That's why I haven't I haven't shared it yet. I'm like, it's working, but it's just not, it's just kind of silly at the moment. So you can expect to see that in the next week or two, though, I think. Initial on-chain mechanics. So most of the game is not going to be on-chain by design. So on the front end, there's going to be wallet scanning and validation. We just need to confirm, which cards the players have in their specific wallet and that they're the owner of that card. There's a few different ways we can do that. And then reward distribution on the back end, making sure that, we record that they won or they lost, send the rewards. And then the rest of it will be done in the app. We've talked about maybe, doing some other pieces of the game on chain, but I don't know that it's necessary at this point. And that may change. I don't know, but that's how we're running with it at the moment. Unopened packs are currently for sale. There's going to be 7 total. This is actually the first look at the transfungalism pack. I haven't released that one yet. But the Technocracy, Dark Technologies, and Cleansing Fire are for sale. They will be redeemable for 6 NFT cards via smart contract in the near future. Each of those has 2 factions in it, right? So Technocracy has Techno Mages and the Imperators. Dark Technologies has Techno Mages and Void Priests. Cleansing Fire has Imperators and Solar Barbarians. And then Transfungalism has Techno Mages and the Fungus, which is its own faction. And there's going to be a total of 7 for the first edition, total of 7 packs for the first edition. Aiden looks very excited about the Fungus pack. And we'll let you know when the redemption date is. I'd prefer sooner rather than later, but we're making all the art by hand, so it's just it takes time. These are the founders cards. We've minted 10,000 total of these. I actually think I need to burn some because I think I made too many of them, but that's okay. We've sold several hundred at this point. We might be at a full 1,000 now. You can go get these for 20 ADA at Cardania.com. Currently, the incentives to hold these are that, just like delegators to the summoning pool, you have a chance to win any of our drops in the future. So at the beginning of last week, when we did our engine wash, was our first card art drop. Before the sale even started, a delegator from Summon and a holder of a founder's card received the first two drops. And that's just going to be a recurring theme. So I would encourage you to at least hold one. And this other weird thing happened where I have several members of the community that have embarked on this Infinity Gauntlet quest to get all 7 of them. And I didn't realize they were going to do this when I first dropped these. And so now I've got to come up with some crazy rewards for all 7 the people who are collecting all these. So that's super cool that they're doing it. But now I'm like, oh right, I gotta figure something out for them. But those are the founders cards, so go check those out. And this is kind of the coolness for the day. This is the concept art for what Cordania, the place, actually looks like, right? And the scale, you can imagine, it's roughly the size of Africa or Australia, whatever, something one of those two. It's a big continent-sized space station. And the idea is that the land sim is going to take place on the surface, at least initially. Cartesian coordinates. I think the core is probably going to be the first place that's released. And then for faction lands, void lands on the outside, the idea is that it's in space. We have these interstellar lanes, which kind of comes into play with some of the other metaverse integrations that we're working on right now. But that's sort of the overarching idea for Cardania, the system. I thought making the sea as the station was sort of a fun way to do that. So yeah, that's sort of the first look at that. The only other people who've seen that were late last night after I finished the presentation. I sent it to our Discord. I said, hey, presenting this tomorrow, I'm giving you guys a heads up. So this is kind of a first for folks in the Cardano community. I hope you guys like it. And then if you notice, so it is, it's deep, it's got some depth. So I'm imagining expansions in sort of the sub layers in the future, right? So surface at first and then kind of go down as we expand. This is an overview of sort of what the land is going to look like in terms of what the land types will be and the variables and the rarity. And then each of these are also going to produce their own specific type of resource, right? Which we haven't built it yet, but the resources will ideally be, redeemable for different things in the future, maybe putting things on your land, building and all that. So that's what you can kind of expect from our land game going forward. So stay tuned for that. This is a weekly event that we host for the community. Is every Friday night at 10 p.m. We've been doing marble races on Twitch. It's just a super fun. There's no there's no greater integration here. There's nothing like that. It's just we get everybody together and we play this goofy game on Twitch called Marbles, where you don't have to download anything. You just come in and as long as you have a Twitch account, type !play, join us, and then we we race the marbles. I comment the whole thing, and then you can win NFTs if your marble wins. And I've got one from Aeonium Sky actually hangs out with us, and he's produced some really dope marbles for the event. So join that. It's a lot of fun every Friday night, 10 p.m. PST. I know it's a little bit late, but there we got I think we had 30 people there last Friday. So it's a thing. Come on by. We do offer some limited development services right now, mostly in the vending machine area, and we're planning to expand that sort of as we go. This is just like, trying to help out new projects and stuff as they need it. If there's code base that we have and we understand, we're more than willing to help other projects out. So reach out if you need anything. We've got one Plutus pioneer, Jonathan Fishbane, on our team, and then I'm actually signed up for the next cohort. So we'll see if I get in. If not, I'm just gonna have to go through all of Lars's YouTube on my own. So yeah, reach out if you guys, if there's any new projects that need help. And these are two of our ongoing metaverse integrations. We're working with Stellarhood and Crypto Pets. If you go to the Stellarhood map, you can actually see in the Sol system that Cordania is there. It has its own little spot. And then Crypto Pets, some of their pets are going to be cards in the first edition of Cardania Enter the Ultraverse. So that's super cool. We love those guys, and we hope to keep working with them. And that's basically it. So, head over to cardania.com and check us out. This is all our contact info. And I think with that, I'll just open up to questions or whatever.
Awesome. That was very awesome. That was super cool. I had one, my one question was why you chose Unreal Engine.
So I like so I used to be a Unity engine guy for a long time. And I just got tired of it. I like where Unreal's the profit sharing model comes in, because I'm like, there's a lot in like game development that if you have like the asset marketplace and you have some of the other tools that Unreal provides, it just makes game development like way easier. Because I don't want to have to build everything from scratch, frankly. Like, it's just going to take a long time to do all that. So like we're already doing the art and all that from scratch. And it's just like, and I just think I think it's going to be easier for developers. And I think sort of this Cardano Unreal Engine marriage is going to just become a thing really quick. In my opinion, I don't know. It's not anything. I think he agrees. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. We're actually looking to use Unreal Engine as the first for the SDK that we're building. So
nice.
Great. So I have a really wonderful presentation, by the way. I've seen that C as your Twitter profile picture, and I've always been like, oh, that's a really cool C, like for Cardania. And now it's kind of cool to understand that actually has like that is the map that people are going to be able to play on, which is really cool. So I have a question from William, who asks, Chris, are you using CCG Toolkit as your base card game app?
Yes, we are using CCG Toolkit. Again, going back to the Unreal Engine question, it's got a lot of assets that you can use. CCG Toolkit is sort of a basic card game application that, it's not like out of the box. You're going to have sort of a kind of a workable card game, but you're still gonna have to do a lot of work. Not just the art, but like the mechanics. It's got very limited mechanics in it, so you're still gonna have to get into the metadata of each of each card, and you're going to have to build some of your own mechanics and stuff yourself. So don't, you know, if you're trying to build a card game and you're hoping that it'll just happen with that, I don't want to disillusion you from that, but it is a great start. It's a great way to start for sure.
Wonderful. And then New Mind Flow says that it was a great presentation and they're looking forward to see where the project goes. I'm in the same boat as them. I'm really excited.
Yes.
I'm going to quickly check to see if I definitely have a question, and I would just be kind of curious. You said that the gameplay experience is a little bit like kind of Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, which I'm a big fan of Magic the Gathering. So I'm super excited to kind of try that out. How does because in these kind of trading card games like Magic the Gathering, you don't really have like almost like a map in which things happen. You have like kind of that lore perspective of where things are. But in terms of how does kind of that awesome, almost continent sized spaceship, how does that kind of interact with the gameplay experience where you're actually battling one another with these cards?
So the concept currently is a great question. And I've actually thought about this quite a bit. So the concept currently is that, so on the land game, you're going to have ownership of the tiles, but there's also going to be control of the tiles, right? Like faction control. So if each player is going to be sort of aligned with a specific faction. And I haven't decided if that's like something that they will select or just based on their deck, right? Maybe just if you have a Solar Barbarian deck, then you're just in the Solar Barbarian faction is what it is. But if they're winning games with that deck or with that faction, then the control grid is going to shift on the land game as well. And that will provide various bonuses for people associated with that faction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really, really cool. So it's like, it's almost as if like you're the I guess you could say like the macro of the game. Like the micro is like you play these individual, one-on-one card games. And then the macro is you're part of these big factions that are working to take control of Cardania.
Yes,
it seems
and
really, really exciting.
And it should be what I like about the idea is, because I can make card games, I can make shooters, I can make cool stuff, but there's going to be 100 other game developers in Cardano, and so I'm hoping that we can work together in that, like, if we can implement their metadata as well and understand, how if their players are winning, then maybe that affects the control grid in some different ways as well. It just depends how I want to do it. So, if you're a project that wants to get on board as we grow, just reach out. It's all baby steps. It's all super slow right now, but we're in it to win it. So
yeah, iteration is key. That's definitely something that we've been following as well. So I'm kind of looking for comments because I have a lot of questions, but I don't want to hog the kind of question seat here. But I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, like, play to earn mechanics, because it's like we're finally seeing cool projects like, of course, Drunken Dragon and Cardania kind of step into this play to earn environment. Could you speak a little bit more to how, if I was playing Cardania right now, what could I do in order to play to earn?
Yeah, well, ideally you'd be winning games, right? So if you're winning games, then you'd be winning Rad tokens, and ideally you'd be able to turn those Rad tokens either into ADA through a mechanism, or into other things through maybe cosmetic upgrades or things that you can trade on the marketplace. And a lot of this is going to depend on what the community values, right? Because you can develop games, you can develop tokens, you can do that, but you gotta have the engagement with it, because it's people that create the value. So I don't want to say like, oh yeah, you get the Rad tokens and then you're just gonna be able to pay rent. I don't know that. Like, I hope it does. I hope that's how it goes, and that's the idea, right? Is that you enjoy your time there, you're earning resources which can be in some form or fashion convertible into real world resources, so that your time spent there is useful. So we're in the rather abstract phase of it. I know that on Ethereum, some games like Gods Unchained, Axes, it's working. It's working. It's not that not that they're terribly complicated games. It's just that the community likes them. So that's really, I think, where the focus should be.
Awesome. Well, brilliant. I really, really enjoyed it.
I'm curious.
So
I'm curious, Chris, what got you into game development initially, and then what was it that made you want to focus on blockchain gaming specifically?
Yeah, so I've been a gamer pretty much forever. I think my very first game was like the first Command and Conquer, or maybe it was. I think it was the very first Warcraft. Way back in the day. I'm 33, so I'm a little bit older. And I've been gaming ever since. And I got into game development a little bit after college. I had worked on a couple just indie projects. I was a GM for a little indie game. It was an RPG, and then I worked in Unity doing my own 3D designs. I was sculpting and doing a lot of digital art and building levels and learning C# and JavaScript. And I just loved it, and it was really cool. But I didn't really have a way to monetize it at the time. I just didn't. It was kind of like it was a hobby that I just had to abandon at a certain point because I couldn't. There was no. I couldn't just go and say, "Hey, go buy my art for 50 ADA," and do that again and again and again and again. When someone told me about the NFT thing, about a year and a half ago or so. Because I hadn't really been paying attention to that side of things. I was like, oh my God, this is the missing piece. This is what we need. And so I started looking on Ethereum, and I tried to interact with the chain. It's just a bad experience. And like every time I would interact with it, I would lose money somehow. And I was just like, this is madness. I was like, to do anything, I have to spend $100. I'm like, this isn't going to work. This isn't like, it's not going to work. And I was already invested in Cardano. So when they started, which upgrade was that? Byron? I don't remember which one it was when they dropped tokens.
The Mary.
There we go, Mary. I was like, all right, we're just doing it. We're doing it. So that's sort of my my tale.
Love it.
Awesome. Yeah. And then Simon's asking any planned collaboration with PlayerMint. So I guess I'll start off on that one.
Whatever you want, man.
We 100% could collaborate, and we're totally looking for people to collaborate with. We don't have any formal collaborations set up quite yet with existing blockchain gaming companies on like in terms of how PlayerMint and Cordania, or PlayerMint and Drunken Dragon, or Ada Quest, or Little Goats, or whatever how direct collaborations, but the conversation through these town halls has been open. So that's what I'll say on that. Chris, if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved your presentation at the beginning, by the way. Super professional. I love the direction. It makes a lot of sense, and I think you're going to capture some market share, my friends. So good work, and we're happy to work with you, man. Like I said, I'm still in the weeds right now, just doing art and just making the card game, and then sort of everything else sort of conceptual phase as we just stacking it as we go. But whatever you guys want to do, I'm down. Maybe we can have, is it PMX as your token?
Yeah.
Is that it? Maybe we got to get some PMX involved in our game as well.
Yeah. We'd love to do something.
Yeah. We're all building the metaverse together. So we got to figure out how to push the ball forward as a unit.
That's right.
Well, awesome. Does anyone else have questions from YouTube or from the Zoom? If you want to ask one with your voice, you're also welcome to throw up your hand in the Zoom call, and we'll unmute you and you can speak. Yeah, I've had a really fun time at the second PlayerMint Town Hall. I really appreciate everybody kind of coming in and showing up and giving us an audience to speak to, as well as Drunken Dragon and Cordania an audience to speak to. And then a massive thank you to you two for coming in and presenting your projects and kind of showing us up. Us Cardano, interested gamers, what we can get excited for, and what's kind of, to come in terms of blockchain gaming on Cardano. Smart contracts hit, we'll all have a lot of fun things to interact with. So I'm really, 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 really psyched.
Thank you guys for having me. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Chris.
Yeah. So I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Kill my.
Yeah. So
here.
William is asking from YouTube, can we get a current Discord invite link? So, and then Simon would also like to ask a question. So while I grab that Discord link for you, I'll let Simon, I've asked to unmute. So you should be able to speak now, Simon. if you'd still like to answer. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just, clapping.
Oh, I see. I thought it was a hand raise.
No, it was, I really like it. I was, I'm eating, so I don't want to, I'll turn on the cam, but it was really well done. It was really well presented from everyone, and yeah, it would be really cool to see some collaboration between you guys. That would be,
Yeah, we're super open to speak with anyone kind of in the blockchain gaming space. It'd be really, really cool. One thing that if anyone was kind of heard from our previous town hall, we do want to launch some sort of Cardano gaming alliance or gaming guild or gaming group, whatever you want to call it, where, maybe, Drunken Dragons, Cardania, any of the other blockchain gaming on Cardano, we could kind of all come together, share resources, speak to how we can collaborate and connect. So I think it'd be really cool if we could almost figure out a way where, you could hold events in one game, which didn't only earn you the tokens from that game, but also earned you tokens from other games as well. Like, oh, I could, I could send an adventurer on a quest in Drunken Dragon and I could earn Rad in PMX, or I could, go and I could complete in Fortnite and I could win Rad in different resources within Drunken Dragon, or I could go into Cardania and earn a pixel tile or something like that. So it would be really, really cool to do something like that. But great. So I sent off the Discord. I think at this time, I think we're about to enter into the feedback stage of kind of our town hall. So we're going to take it off of the live stream just because this is more just like feedback for us. So if anyone in the live stream does want to kind of come in and, speak with us and say what's up, share their feedback on how they liked the presentation, I'm going to send the invite into the Zoom into YouTube, and then we'll close it out. But if anyone has any last final remarks before we kind of shut down on the YouTube front, feel free to raise your hand if you want to speak, or if you already have the capacity to unmute yourself, just go ahead.